We're going to start our playlist here in just a second, and then we'll start getting warm. My name is Megan. I teach Pro Barre and Vinyasa Flow Yoga here at Pro Club. So excited. This is my first live class, so if there's technical difficulties, please be forgiven. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you want to join us for the first half, we're doing Barre, the second half, we're doing yoga, or maybe you try both, and then I get to see you in real life when you come to class. So I'm going to give you the 3, 2, 1, and then point, and that's when you start the playlist. For me, for Barre, everything has to be on the beat, so that's just me. But so I like to have the music going. So we're going to get our playlist going. I'm going to set it up here in 3, 2, 1. No, hold on. Alexa, play Spotify. Alexa, play Spotify. We'll try that again. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, so for Barre, we're starting with our feet hip distance apart, toes and knees pointing forward, hands on our hips, pulling in with our belly, lengthening our spine. Barre is a fusion of ballet and Pilates and yoga. So we're doing a little bit of all the things. We're going to start by opening up our hips, and then our toes follow, but really this is happening in our hips. So we're just going to take this open and close, rocking through our inner hips. So feeling that in the pelvis. One more. Nice. Holding this turnout right here. This is first position. Pulling in with our belly, stacking our spine, bending the knees, right over our toes. So this is a plie. We're keeping our spine stacked over our hips and adding that little bend down and up. And we can find our ballerina arms. We could have a hand on our chair. Nice. Finding our bend. Beautiful. 4 more like this. Pulling in the belly, getting as tall as we can in the spine, feeling that squeeze in our inner thighs. 1 more. We're going to pulse this down right here, a little pulse. Bring it down. Taking some arms up and overhead. Exhale as we bring them down. Nice. Taking it the other way, coming out. Exhaling forward. Nice. Keeping our hands right here, elbows up, shoulders down. We're going to step to the right and then bring it center. Open and close. Nice. So as we step out, this is second position. So second to first. Belly's in tight. We're going to hold this out right here. Sink down into this plie nice and wide. Shoulders still over our hips. Right heel, left heel. Alternating sides. Nice. Then holding the right heel up, take it down and up. Pulsing this down, little pulse. In with the belly nice and tall. 4 more. Peeking down, our knees tracking right over our foot. Left heel coming down and up slowly. Pulsing this down, bring it down. 4 more. Nice. Sinking down. We're going to turn our hands forward, keeping wide. Give me a squat. So squatting, different than a plie, because we're hinging at the hips. Our back is flat, and we're pushing our booty back. So belly in, give me that big booty push back. All our weight is evenly distributed in our feet. And we're going to pulse this down, knees tracking over toes. Nice. 4 more like this. We got 4, 3, 2. We're going to stay down low. Back to that. Right heel, left heel. 4 more. 2 more. 1 more here. Bringing it up, bringing our feet back together. We're going to start with a high knee march. Belly's in, pointing our toe, bringing our knee right in front of us and our toe pointed to the floor. Opening wide, adding some arms. So we're getting warm. Here we go. This next song's my jam right now. I love me some JT. Super excited for this movie to come out. Nice, changing our arms, taking it overhead. Getting warm. Thank you for being here with me today, taking the time to work out, try your bar on. I'm your barista. One more. Then we're going to take these arms overhead, right over the knee. Getting our upper body nice and warm. 8 more like this. We got 4. Last 2. Last one. Bring it down. Take a big breath in. Toes up. Exhale. Bring it down one more time. Nice. Coming to our bar. We're coming to our first exercise. We're going to start with our feet hip distance apart. Toes and knees pointing forward. Belly in. Head tall. Hand on our hip to start. So just a releve, which means to raise, to lift. We're going to lift our heels. So I'm facing the camera, but just so you can see it from the side, I'm lifting straight up from my heels. And we want to watch that we're making sure we're shifting our weight into our front of our foot without like buckling the foot. So evenly distributed weight through the front of the foot. All 10 toes are going to come into contact with the floor as we push down. And Rama wants in. Good boy. Taking this a little higher, double time. A little faster, heels up. Nice. We want to feel that good burn in our calf right now. Do you feel it? I feel it. Ooh, it feels good to have some bar going on. Set the heels down. Then we're going to take a squat. Sitting back. So we're hinging at the hips, our belly's in tight. Pushing our booty back, squat. 2 more here. Nice, holding down right here. So we're gonna hold down. Our belly's in tight, we're hinged forward, shifting our weight into the front of the foot and then back. Just a little heel lift. So we're not coming all the way up. We're not coming into a full stiletto. We're just coming into some pumps. Just barely lifting our heel. And 1 more, holding our heels off the floor, taking a big breath in. Exhale as we come all the way tall, into that releve. Inhaling down, exhaling up. Nice. Taking an inhale down, exhale up. Trying to keep that even distribution of weight in our toes and the front of our foot. Our heels just barely off the floor. 1 more. Nice, taking this a little bit faster. Exhale, inhale. And as we exhale, we're getting as tall as we can. Lifting from the crown of our head up to the sky. Hopefully it's a blue sky by you today. 2 more here. Nice, holding this tall. We're gonna drop our right heel, then our left heel. And imagining that we're sitting in between 2 panes of glass. So we're avoiding swinging our hips. We wanna keep our hips in tight. Our booty is tight. Just pressing the heels down. So from the side, I'm just pushing my heels down. 1 more like this, and then add a little swing out with the hips. Now we're bringing the hips into play. Take this a little bit faster, heels. Nice, and we're gonna start to walk our feet out, finding our first position. Heels together, toes turned out. So first position, and we wanna find our first position when we bend our knees, they're right over our toes. So watching the knees, if they're in narrower, our feet should be narrower. If they're out wider, our feet should be wider. Wherever the knees track, the toes right underneath them. So coming into our plie here, coming down and in. So we're tall. Shoulders over hips, spine is erect, our crown is up to the sky. We're pulling in and being as long as we can. And then thinking about our inner thigh, we're making a diamond and then we're squeezing it together. And imagine you have a water balloon in between our thighs and we're trying to pop it each time. Squeezing tight, squeezing and popping. Nice. Feeling that squeeze, then pulsing our plie, bring it down. Still tall, belly's in. Nice, 4 more. Holding down, those knees bent. We're going to add a little heel lift here. So you have some options. We can leave it just like this, or if we want a little extra challenge, gluing our heels together for that heel lift. And then seeing if we can keep them glued together the whole time. If we're choosing that option, don't eat my yoga mat, Rama. Keeping that pulse. Nice, we're gonna hold this right here, and then we're gonna take it down and up. So making sure our weight is partially in our chair, or if we were using a bar, on our bar, because we're bringing our knees beyond our toes. So we're staying tall, keeping that pulsing plie. Don't eat my yoga mat, dude. One more. Nice. So we're going to hold this plie, heels are together, then keeping our heels off the floor. Inhale, squeezing tall. Exhale, coming down, coming all the way in that inner thigh squeeze from our ankles through our knees, all the way through our inner thighs. Nice. And then pulsing that squeeze. Feeling that in our quads, in our internal thighs, in our booty. We want to be tight there. 2 more. Coco has joined us for bar. I have a menagerie. Nice. Still up, lower the heels and lift. Nice. We're burning up our thigh, our quads, and our calves today, this morning. It's afternoon. Nice option to add some arms all the way overhead, or using the bar, whatever works. Bar, the chair, whatever feels better to you. Nice. 4 more here. 2 more. Nice. Bring it in. Pedal out those feet. Woo! Nice. We're going to turn toward our bar, toward our chair, at a 45-degree angle. So imagining we had a ballet bar here, placing one hand on it. We're going to turn our toes into that first position, soften through our knees, and bring our back leg behind us. So adding a little knee lift and tap. Knee lift and tap. And you can hear my toe sweeping across the floor. We want that drag. So we're opening through the knee, keeping it bent. Nice work. 1 more. Holding this knee up, we're adding a little pulse. So softness in both knees, that pulse is happening through the hip. We feel it all the way down our quad. We're still tall. Nice, so we're slightly turned out. Now we're going to bring our toe forward and out. So that hip is rotating. Brahma, don't bite me. Life with the puppy. 1 more. Holding it here. Now lift that knee straight up and tap. Lift and tap. I'm pointing through the toe. So we're making the angle from our hip through our toe as long as we can. Nice long line, pulsing this up, little pulse. 2 more. Holding up here, we're going to soften that knee, and then imagine dragging our big toe on the floor and making a little figure 8, or an infinity sign. Whichever one pleases you more in terms of imagery. So we're opening through the hip, and then taking it a little bit higher. Oh, wait till I lift that leg behind me. 2 more here. Nice, we're going to change this. We're going to take it in, around, and then lift behind. In, around, lift behind. Don't kick your puppy. In, around, and lift. In, around, and lift. In. 2 more. Holding this here. So our standing knee is soft, our toe is pointed, adding a lift and tap behind us. Lift and tap. So there's that long line from the crown of my head through my toe. I'm keeping that length. If you want another option, we could bring our hand overhead. 2 more here. Nice. Holding that leg up, a little pulse up. I'm being bitten. Go eat your toys. Pulsing up. You see him? Bring it in. Pedal out the feet. Nice. So we're going to stand with our hip right next to the bar, bringing one leg behind us and one in front. So whichever leg is further away from your chair is going to be the one that's behind. Both toes are turned out. I'm in a fifth position. I'm split. So we're going to take a plie. Nice and tall. Inner thigh squeeze as we come up and squeeze. Nice. 2 more here. Then we're going to pulse at the bottom 3 times, sinking in low. 3, 2, I'm going to sweep my legs straight out to the side. 3, 2, 1, and sweep. 3, 2, 1, boom. Oh no! My camera fell. Two more. 3, 2, 1. One more. Nice. Holding out there, little lift. We're straight out from our hip. Feeling that squeeze right there. One more. Holding that out. Then we're going to hinge down, tap. So we're hinging at our hip, setting our elbow down on our chair. Two more like this. One more here. Holding it down here. That toe is up. Little tiny lifts up and down. You feeling that good burning in that leg yet? Barre's the best. 2 more. Last one. Bring it down. Turning to the chair. Dropping that heel back. Get a nice long stretch through the calf. Beautiful. We're going to switch sides. Don't eat my yoga mat. And I'm worried about this camera. I'm going to fix it 1 second. Technical fun. Think better. 45-degree angle. Taking our feet turned out. Our toe is behind us, adding that little sweep. Sweep and tap. Sweep and tap. Nice. 4 more here. 2 more like this. 1 more. Adding that little pulse right here, little pulse. So softness through the knees. Turn it up, turn knee up, knee open. Knee up and open. Avoiding the puppy and the cat. Forward. 2 more. 1 more. Holding that point nice and tall. We're going to tap and lift. A long line through the toe. Nice. 8 more. Don't kick your puppy. 1 more. Nice. Softening the knee, bringing it in, adding that little figure 8 on the floor. Figure 8 on the floor. He likes this one the best. Hey man, you gotta stop biting me. 1 more. And then adding that reach around, hinge and lift. Reach around, hinge and lift. Reach around and lift. Puppy. 2 more. 1 last time. Holding here, that hinge right there. Tap and lift. So we have that long line from our head all the way to our toe. Burning up our other leg. Nice. Holding it up, little pulse up. Up. You have that option too, the long arm. 1 more. Hinging back to upright. So we're going to split our stance. Our inside foot, whichever is nearest to the bar, comes forward. Our outside foot is behind us, turned out. Plie, squeeze. So stacking our shoulders over our hips. Our head is tall. Inhale and exhale. Nice work. Woo, we feeling that burn through our legs yet? Bar. I'll do it till I'm 100. I swear I love it. 2 more. And one more. Here comes our pulse for 3 times. 3, 2, 1. Sweep the leg. Straight from our hips. So making sure we're coming straight up. 3, 2, 1, and lift. 3, 2, and lift. Oh, sorry, puppy. And lift. 3, 2, 1, lift. I feel so bad. One more. Nice, holding this leg out, little pulse. Little lift, pointing through that toe. We're gonna hold it up there, add that tap, hinge, and tap. So hinging on our hip, coming down. So as that leg comes up, we should be parallel to the floor. Four more like this. Keep our breathing, keep our long, tight belly. 2 more. 1 more. Bring it in. Turning to our bar, stepping back with that heel, lunging back. Both feet back, lunging back. Pedal out the feet. We're going to hinge our hips and bring our back flat. So we have some options. We could do our next series right here with a long, flat spine. We could stack our hands and set our forehead down and do it here, or we could come onto our hands and knees, and I think I'm going to do that. So, finding our hands under our shoulders and our knees under our hips, we're going to lift this one foot and then lift it up to the ceiling behind us and down. So just a hip press, and imagining that there's a glass of water or a mimosa or a glass of champagne. Whatever beverage of choice feels good, sitting on our spine. So if we're twerking, it's going to fall. But if we're keeping it flat, we're going to keep from spilling that precious liquid. So pushing our foot flat to the ceiling. One more here, and then pulsing this up. Little stomp of that foot. Stomping up. Nice. Then taking our toe and pointing it to the ceiling, and that same thing pushing up. So we're still in with the back. Our belly is in tight. We're holding that glass of water flat on our spine. We want to feel this in our booty and both cheeks. One more here. Bringing our knees together. And then we're going to open that knee out to the side and bring it down. Doggy fire hydrant style. Open and close. And we can even rest our toes together, feeling that open and close. One more here, and then adding a little pulse, little press up, pressing up. One more on this side, bring it down, pushing our hips to the leg that was up, stretching our arms out in the opposite direction, and then switching our arms and our hips, and then flipping around, coming to the opposite side. So finding our flat back, our belly is in, our tummy is tight, we're flexing our back foot, bringing that foot up, and then just hover to the floor, or just barely tap down. Focusing on our back, doing that push up to the ceiling, imagining with our foot that we're stomping up the ceiling. Hello, Roma. Stomping up to the ceiling. Nice, and then adding a little pulse, pressing up, stomping. So again, that back is flat, our belly is in tight. We're feeling this in our glutes, in both booties. Nice, and then taking that flex foot, pointing our toe, and the same thing, hooking it up to the ceiling. Little pulse up, our belly's still in tight. Woo, we're gonna get a goodie booty burn. 2 more here. And then bring it down, and we're going to add that lift out to the side and bring it down. So opening through the hip, our belly's still in tight. Open and close. Two more. Like with puppy. Pulsing it up at the top, a little pulse for 8, 7. We got 4 more. Last one. Bring that knee down, hips to that side, hands to the opposite. And then switching sides. Nice. We got one more track to finish up with our legs for bar, and then we're going to move into some yoga. So we're going to come onto our back with our feet hip distance apart, bringing our knees, our feet right under our knees, so tucking in tight. I'm just going to move you like foot that way. Thank you. We're on our back, tucking our feet, and today we're going to do our bridges mermaid style. So we're actually going to bring our feet sole to sole and our knees together, and imagine that someone gave you a $100 bill that said if you can keep your knees touching, you get to keep it. So that $100 bill is in between our knees, our feet are down, we're going to tuck our pelvis and roll up our bridge. So holding that squeeze, working our inner thighs and our glutes, as well as our hamstrings and our quads. And then we're going to lower down and lift. Squeezing through our booty. So, feeling that squeeze, we want to target it in a specific spot. So in our booty, the place where our glutes, our gluteus maximus, meets our hamstrings, that little crease. I like to call it the butt smile. Our butt smile. Every time we squeeze, right there in the butt smile, we want to target that zone, squeezing, squeezing, drop and lift. Drop and lift. Watch out for the puffy. And we're still in our mermaid legs. We're still squeezing our inner thighs together. So we're getting all kinds of work on all four parts of our legs. Squeezing and lift. Squeezing and lift. One more here, and then a little pulse, down and up. Squeeze, squeeze. One more, holding up as high as we can. Knees are still squeezing. We're feeling that all over. We're going to go right cheek, left cheek, right cheek, left cheek. So each cheek is as tight as it can be while the other one is squeezing. And knowing that in bar, our goal is to fatigue some of these muscles. And so if we start shaking, that's a good thing. That means those muscles are fatiguing and that we're working those target zones. Squeeze, squeeze. We're going to take this a little bit faster. Right cheek, left cheek, right cheek, left cheek. Woo! Burning, burning. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. And gently bring it down. Did you see me shaking? Woo! Bring our knees in, grab the backs of the thighs. Open up the knees into the shoulders. Nice. Gently rock it side to side. Drop one leg. We're going to bring the opposite leg across that thigh. Push the knee away. Reach through the leg. And bring that knee in. Stretching out our legs. So in bar today we focused on legs. We also usually do arms, but I'm going to hit our arms in yoga. So we're going to get it all if you stay for the whole hour. Releasing that foot down, switching feet, reaching through the legs, finding that figure 4 stretch, pushing that knee that's up away and coming in with that opposite knee. It should hurt so good. Nice, releasing that leg. We're going to use the leg to roll us up. Open up our knees, bring our feet sole to sole. Sitting nice and tall and just a little bit of butterfly. Opening up, releasing from the hips. Taking a big breath in. Exhaling as we hinge forward to our feet. Gently walking up, walking at our feet, flexing our feet, inhaling up, hinging at the hips, coming forward to our feet. And inhaling up, opening up the right leg, bringing the left foot in, squaring our hips, inhaling up to the ceiling, and exhaling as we hinge toward the side, so keeping our shoulders square forward wherever our right hand can fall. Feeling that stretch through the back of the legs. Inhaling as we come back up, and then rotating over that right leg, exhaling as we hinge forward. Coming back up, and then switching our feet. Shifting away, our left foot forward, our right foot in. Inhaling up, hinging at the hips, bringing that right arm overhead. Feeling that stretch to the right side body. Inhaling back up, both hands up, rotating over the left leg and exhaling as we hinge forward. Nice, coming back up. So that is going to close out our barre portion of class, and we're going to move into some yoga. We're already warm, so we're going to do a little bit of warrior work, and then we're going to do some abdominal work. So take a deep breath. Let's get centered here for a moment. So finding whatever our feet position is that's natural, and let's switch it. So why do we do this? Because we tend to have a dominant side, and by switching it up, it actually increases our neural pathways between our right and left hemispheres of our brain. So it's just good for our brain to mix things up. Same thing if you fold your hands one way, try doing it the other way. It really is good for our brain. So we're going to sit in this opposite leg position, close our eyes, stack our vertebrae, and just take some flows side to side. We're going to inhale with the left hand and reach over to the right side, stretching through the right side of the body. Inhaling as we come back up. Exhaling as we reach over with the right hand, stretching through the right side of the body. And just flowing side to side a little bit, feeling that stretch laterally through the body. Inhaling back up. Exhaling one more time on either side. And if our heartbeat is still up and we need to breathe through our mouth, that's fine. Otherwise, seeing if we can breathe through our nose. And if we can take these breaths deep down into our diaphragm, to the deepest part of our belly. Coming back up. Then we're going to make our way onto our hands and knees. With our hands under our shoulders and our knees under our hips, moving through some cow and cat breath. As we inhale, arching our spine and coming up vertebrae by vertebrae till we lift the crown of our head up. And then exhaling, tucking our pelvis, rounding our spine, pulling up, 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 up until the top of our head is reaching to the floor. And continuing that with our breath. So inhaling as we arch through the back. Exhaling as we tuck the pelvis and round through the spine. Moving between both. And moving at whatever pace we're breathing. So if we're breathing faster than this or slower than this, being true to what's happening in our own body. Taking one more breath here. Finding a flat back. We're going to tuck our toes under our feet and press our heels down, lifting our knees and lifting our hips and finding a downward facing dog. And just pedaling out our feet. So if there's any shoulder or back injuries and this doesn't feel good, we can always drop our elbows down and come into dolphin here. So finding the place that feels good in the body and then creating as much length from our hands to our hips and through our heels to our hips. Finding that nice long line, pressing both heels down and up. And then walking our feet into our hands. Softening our knees, and then inhale as we circle sweep our arms out to the sides, coming all the way up into standing mountain. Exhaling as we release our hands by our hips. We're going to turn our palms forward, roll our shoulders away, back and down, and just take a moment to feel grounded. Closing our eyes and feeling gravity, feeling the ground beneath our feet. And as our eyes are closed, starting to sway side to side, just feeling that shift, that our proprioceptors come into play, our sense of balance. Rocking side to side. And slowly opening our eyes when we're ready. We're going to come to the top of our mat or towel or blanket or whatever we're working with and step back with our left foot and let our toe be at some kind of angle where this feels okay on the hips. We're not turned all the way out yet. We're not turned forward, just somewhere where we naturally will land. Taking a breath in. As we exhale, sinking our right knee right over our foot so that we can only see our big toe and lifting up to the sky with our hands facing each other. And lastly, we're going to turn our shoulders over that knee. So our back foot is open, but our shoulders and front knee are square forward. Warrior one. We're going to flow. One. Taking a breath in here, bringing our palms together. Anjali Mudra. Exhaling as we come to heart center. Inhaling up. And then using some force in our hands, pushing our hands toward one another. Namaskara. We are creating some energy, some heat between our fingertips. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Taking one more breath in each direction. Next time our hands are up, as we exhale, we're going to open up to the sides and turn our back foot perpendicular to our front. Opening through our shoulders so they're in one long line, and we're still bent. If we peek down, we can see only the big toe, and then we're going to turn our chin over that finger that's in front of us. So we're opening our heart, opening our chest, finding that big expansion through our heart. Warrior two. Taking a few breaths here. Feeling that power between our feet and imagining we're being pulled front to back through our feet, front to back through our fingers. Taking a breath here and inhaling, hinging at the hips, coming towards side angle. Our legs stay the same, our upper body is just hinging. Exhaling as we come back, bringing our right hand overhead, our left hand behind us. So we're flowing between side angle and reverse warrior. Moving with our breath. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Taking one more breath here. Coming back to our reverse warrior. And then inhaling, coming back into our warrior two. We're going to turn our toes along the long edge of our mat. Bring our heels in and then inhale up, 5 pointed stars. We exhale, bending knees over toes and elbows over knees. So feeling like we're sliding down an imaginary wall. Exhaling as we come down, inhaling as we come up. Moving with our breath. Taking one more breath here. And this time as we exhale, stepping back in with our opposite foot, setting up for our warrior one on this leg. So this time our left foot is pointed straight to the side. Our right foot is somewhere in between, perpendicular and pointed. Inhaling as we reach up. Exhaling as we sink into the left knee. So if we peek down, we can see that big toe. Readjusting our stance and then bringing our palms together with some tension, palm to palm. Breathing in as we exhale, coming into heart center. Inhaling as we come up. Using our breath. Can we feel the energy between our fingertips, between our palms? Taking one more breath here as we come up to the sky. Exhaling as we open up the hands and then turning that back foot perpendicular, landing in our warrior two. Our front knee is still over our foot. We can still peek down and see our big toe, finding our heart open. Our fingertips are being pulled two opposite directions. Gazing over that front hand, finding our warrior two. On our next inhale, hinging forward, coming towards side angle. Exhaling as we come back, reverse warrior. Flowing back and forth between our side angle and our reverse warrior. Moving with the pace that we're breathing. Taking one more breath in either direction. On our next inhale, Unwinding back into our warrior two. We're going to lift the right heel and step together with our feet hip distance apart. Finding mountain Tadasana. Grounding our feet, imagining that we have roots growing down into the earth. Supporting us, nurturing us, giving us all the things that we need. Shifting our weight into our right foot. We're going to bring our left foot in and either propping our heel up against our ankle, starting here for our tree pose, or maybe bringing our foot into our calf, or maybe coming all the way up into the inner thigh, just being aware of our knee. We don't want to push on the knee. We don't want to tear anything. So ankle, calf, inner thigh, finding tree. And then once we find our tree legs, rooting that foot down, pulling in through our pelvic floor and up through the crown of our head, finding an arm that feels good in our tree today. So maybe our tree is high, maybe our tree is at heart center, maybe our tree is in cactus. Whatever variation of tree speaks to you today and feels good, it is grounding. We're planting seeds at spring, feeling the sunshine coming into our hearts, into our lives. Taking this time of internal improvement and growth. Taking one more breath here, exhaling as we release that left foot. And then just open our eyes, open our heart, close our eyes. And noticing any sensations between the right and left side of our body. If we can feel our heartbeat, imagining that we're radiating out all the love, all the good things that we want for the universe, for our world, for our country. Shifting our weight into our left foot and finding our tree on the opposite side. So starting with kickstand, and then maybe bringing our foot up to our calf or up into our inner thigh. And then whatever arms are feeling good in our tree today. Being true to ourselves. Pulling in through our pelvic floor all the way up through the top of the head. Finding the crown of our head. We are a tall and mighty oak, or sequoia, or spruce. Taking one more breath in our tree. Exhaling as we bring our foot back down, hip distance apart, rolling our shoulders away, back and down, closing our eyes and regrounding to the earth. Reconnecting. Taking a breath. Preparing to inhale, reaching up to the sky, palms toward each other. And as we exhale, hinging forward, coming through a flat back as we come down, reaching toward the floor and then softening our knees. We're going to step back onto our knees and prepare to go into dolphin. So tucking our toes under our feet and dropping our elbows and interlacing our fingers, pointing our pinkies away from us. So they're ground on the floor, they're touching the earth, they're pushing away from us, and then pressing our heel down and lifting up our hips. So finding our dolphin pose. So we have some options. We can stay here, or we can move to swimming dolphin. Inhaling as we bring shoulders over elbows, exhaling down, inhaling as we come back up. Exhaling down, or holding dolphin. And we can pedal on our feet if we need to, listening to what our body needs, maybe feeling this is a challenge, an opportunity to do a little bit of work in our abdominal region, or maybe just feeling good to float back and forth. Taking one more breath here, and then softening our knees, release our toes, and press our hips back to our feet, extending our arms long as we come into child's pose. If this does not resonate and feel good in our shoulders, we can bring our hands by our feet, finding our child's pose here, or making fists with our hands and setting our forehead on our hands. As we breathe in, reflecting, what good is happening in our lives right now? Can we focus in on that and take a moment to be in that growth, in that space? And then placing our palms down on the floor, we're going to walk our way up onto our knees. And then turn so that we're along the long edge of the mat, facing the side. Taking an extension of our right leg out, so planting our right heel and inside of our foot down on the earth. Taking a big breath in, and as we exhale, hinging forward with our left hand. Inhaling as we come back up, and exhale down to our right hand. Inhaling as we come back up, flowing through gate. Taking one more flow in either direction. And then the next time our left hand comes down, we're going to plant it on the ground. And we have some options. We can stay here in gate. We could drop to our elbow. Or we could extend that bottom knee out from our side and come into side plank. So finding whichever variation feels good today. And we have lots of options in side plank. We could come into tree. We could find many things. And we could be on our knees. So just listening to our body, what feels good today. If we're on our knee, we might try lifting our foot. Try kneeling half moon. Taking one more breath on this side. And on our next inhale, coming back up to center. Exhaling as we bring that knee underneath us. And switching feet, bringing our opposite leg out. Now watch out for the puppy here. Inhaling up. Exhaling as we come to our right side. Inhaling as we come back up. Exhaling to the left. Moving with our breath. Imagining we're a wave rolling onto the shore and then rolling away. Inhaling back up, exhaling down, taking one more flow side to side. And then as we find our right hand down, holding our gate here. So we have all of those options. We can lift our foot, we can extend our foot, we can find our tree, any version of side plank that speaks to you and feels good today. So many different options. Taking one more breath here. Inhaling as we come back up to center. Exhaling as we bring our knee back in. Turning back along the long edge of our mat, taking a big breath in and exhaling as we melt our heart down, keeping our hips high, hands out in front of us, and just letting our hearts melt into the floor. So our hips are up. Taking a moment to feel that stretch through our shoulders, through our back, through our abs as we lift our hips. Breathing in here and then lifting our right hand. We're going to slide it palm up underneath our left arm and set our right cheek down. And just find a restorative thread the needle here. Giving ourselves permission to close our eyes and turn inward. And just listen to our breath. Taking one more breath like this, and then inhaling as we turn back to center. Switching hands, bringing our left arm underneath us with the palm up. Threading the needle as we set our left cheek down. Surrendering to our exhale. Letting go of all the things that don't serve us right now. All the worry and anxiety, just letting it leave. Let it flow with our exhale. Taking one more breath here, inhaling as we turn back to center. We're going to open our knees wide, bring our toes together, And exhale as we push our hips back and come into a wide knee child's pose. And we have all those options in terms of what we want to do with our hands. So finding a child's pose that feels restorative and good and restful. Taking one more breath here. And inhaling as we come up, very gently bringing one knee underneath us and coming onto our hip. We're going to move our way onto our spine. Then bring our feet underneath our hips. Little puppy. Our feet underneath our knees. Our hands on the floor. And then tucking our pelvis, inhaling as we roll up into bridge. And different than our barre class, our feet are going to be wide, hip distance apart. Feeling that in the glutes, in the hamstrings, in the quads, in the belly. All four places are working. Closing our eyes and just feeling that heat. We could press our palms down to earth, or we could interlace our fingers behind our back, or if you like, we could even flow our hands overhead, inhaling up and exhaling back down. Taking a moment to let our legs feel that heat, feel that stretch. Taking one more breath here. And on our next exhale, slowly coming down, one vertebrae at a time. Giving your spine permission to come down piece by piece by piece through each thoracic vertebrae, all the way down to the lumbars, until our hips are on the floor. And then gently bringing our knees into our shoulders, wrapping our arms around our shins, giving ourselves a big hug, and rocking side to side. Give yourself some love. You're doing a great job. Taking one more breath here, releasing our feet back to the earth. And we're going to stretch out our left leg long, keeping our right foot planted, and making a T with our arms. My T is kind of weak because of the puppy's crash. Pushing down with our right foot, we're going to lift our right hip, inhaling up, and bring it over to the right side, grabbing with the left hand, and then looking back at our extended arm behind us. Finding that twist in our spine, and closing our eyes, seeing if we can, as we exhale, release a little deeper into that stretch through our mid-back. Our shoulders are both on the floor. Taking one more breath here, inhaling as we roll back into center, readjust our hips, and bring our left foot in, extend our right foot long, pressing down with the left foot, lifting the hip, bringing it to the opposite direction, and looking back over our, I'm going to have to switch here, over our shoulder, finding that stretch. Our shoulders are down. Taking one more breath here. Inhaling as we come back to center. Readjust our hips and bring our knees in one more time, grabbing a knee in either hand and then just making small circles away from each other and then together. Massaging out our low back. Moving with our, and when we're ready, changing direction. Giving ourselves one last hug and rocking side to side. And then flexing our feet, pressing them up to the ceiling, grabbing the backs of the thighs, and letting our hips rest on the floor as we pull our knees toward our shoulders. Dead bug. We can stay here. If our hips can stay down and we want to try something, We can reach to the outside of our feet and find happy baby, keeping the hips down, or with two big fingers around our big toe, extending our feet out for a big toe hold. Whichever feels like a more relaxing stretch, that's the one that we want to be at today. Taking one more breath here. And then gently releasing our feet back down to earth. Opening up wide, our feet on the edges of the mat, and letting our knees fall together, finding a restorative bridge. Taking a moment to just close our eyes. Giving ourselves this precious time to just be. For final relaxation, we can either stay here in our restorative bridge, or we could bring our feet sole to sole and find a supine butterfly, or we can extend our legs long and find Shavasana. Any pose that's very restful and restorative, that feels good, that's where we want to be for final relaxation. As we exhale, surrendering. Giving in to what will be. Slowly bringing awareness back into our fingers and our toes. Making small micro movements with our fingers, maybe a little wiggle with our toes. And sending that energy, that awareness through our legs, through our arms, through our hips, all the way up our spine, through our shoulders and neck, and then up out through the crown of the head. And if it feels good, maybe letting our neck turn to one shoulder and then the other. Making any small movements that feel good. Taking one more breath here on our back. And then when we're ready, taking a moment to gently roll onto one side. We roll onto one side so that it allows our heart to adjust more slowly to being upright. So taking a breath or two while we're on that side, and then pressing down with our hand and pushing ourselves up into a seated position. And this time letting your dominant leg be the one that's in front. Feeling that pull of our vertebrae. We're up, tall, stacked spine. Letting our hands rest comfortably on our knees or our thighs. Closing our eyes. Taking in a breath and exhale, letting it out. Reaching our fingertips out to the side and coming overhead, palm to palm. Anjali Mudra, pressing against our hands. Namaskar. Coming into heart center. The light in me loves and honors the light in you. Closing closing class today with a quote by Coco Chanel. Hard times arouse an instinctive desire for authenticity. Find your true, authentic self right now and let that person go forth and shine forth to the world. Let this be a lesson that we need to be our true, authentic selves more in our day-to-day life. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. I look forward to seeing you all in the club soon. Namaste.